Ready for your close-up, Sam? That's right. They say that pet videos and dogs, animals, they're the best videos to put on YouTube. You get lots of views. That's Sarah laying over there in the corner, and there is Sam. A little something different here today. I'm exploring some of my old stomping grounds. Right, Sam? Come over here, Sam. Come over and say hi. Nah. Hello there, Sully here, the retired tanker yanker. Welcome to Transitions. In a totally different place. With animules. Got my new buddy Sam here. Right, Sam? Sam, come over and say hi. Say hi to the people, Sam. Say hi to the people, huh? Oh, he's such a good boy. Yes, he is. He's my new buddy. Although I don't know how much longer he has for this world. He's in kind of rough shape, but he's a happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody. Even though you'll probably be saying this much later, I'm enjoying a trip up to a place where I used to live in upstate Pennsylvania, and up here in the coal country. Took a walk this morning up in the old coal mine area, which is not a coal mine anymore. I think they're reclaiming it, and I think they plan on fracking gas out of there, but it is what it is. But came up here, had a pretty good time, but I was supposed to come up here on Friday. It's Sunday now. I didn't come up till yesterday because I had a little bit of a problem. Somebody stole a wheel off of my car. Can you believe that? I had to get a new wheel, and it came with a tire, but the tire was all dry rotted, so I had to get a new tire. And set me back a couple $100 to get a new wheel and a new tire. I guess it is what it is, but here's the funny thing. This guy who stole my tire, probably the same exact car, probably exactly like my car. The thing is, he used his jack. So he probably went to put the stolen tire from my car into his car and said, wait a minute. How am I going to get this without my jack? And he couldn't get the jack out of my car because there's no way. If he put it all the way down, it would have been stuck under there. So, you know, yeah, I'm out a couple $100 for a new wheel and a new tire, but, you know, this guy doesn't have a jack. He got my stolen tire, and it is what it is, I guess. I'm not going to lose sleep over it. Anyway, join me here on a little bit of a nostalgic journey. I'm going to take a look around the area and see what's going on. Sam. Sarah.
Where's my bucket of poop?
I don't know. Where is it? Okay, the dogs required a little bit of coaxing to get in. Sarah got in right away. I've known her for a while, but this is the first time I ever met Sam here. And he is absolutely the sweetest dog. Took a little coaxing to get him into the car. He knew something was up apparently, but wasn't quite sure. But finally, he was able to be coaxed into the car. Go on in. There you go. Good boy. So we took a ride up the Uke Road. It's called a haul road. It's where they haul the coal out of the mine. They call it the Uke Road around there because of the Euclid trucks. As you can see, it was a very rainy day. And the road is kind of muddy, but it's, you know, that black color is literally from anthracite coal. They piled up a lot of the dirt that they're clearing out of there. They're preparing for a fracking operation. The sad fact is, this was a residential area up till about 15 years ago. Houses sit abandoned now. I may have mentioned that my father was from Monterey City, Schuylkill County, Pennsylvania. And I can imagine maybe his parents or grandparents lived in a house not unlike that. And we decided to let the dogs out stretch their legs, and we stretched our legs. Having a look around here at all this area that was, you know, once a residential area in Pleasant Woods. But it does sit on the largest vein of anthracite coal in the world, the Mammoth Vein. The Mammoth Vein encompasses 4 counties in Pennsylvania: Carbon County, Berks County, Lehigh County, and Schuylkill County. This, of course, is in Hecksherville, Schuylkill County. So, let the dogs stretch their legs while we stretched our legs. And as you can see, this was a busy road at one time when people lived back here. These dogs are very familiar with this area. Carol likes to take them walking on these roads. And as you can see, devastation. This house was occupied just a few years ago. And now it's sitting empty, waiting for the bulldozer. Then waiting for the fracking operation to move in. Now these homes are not in any danger of being bulldozed. People still live there. Everything east of the west branch of the Schuylkill River is not up for eminent domain or trying to buy out. There are some people who haven't sold in the area where they want to do fracking, and apparently eminent domain is going to have to take over, and these people are just going to be displaced. But you can see how green the area is. Trees. Millions and millions and millions of years ago, this was all trees, and then the glacier came through and deposited rock, and the trees were all crushed down, and they became coal, anthracite coal. And people have lived with this for years up there. Heavy equipment is in place for the fracking operation. That might be a drilling rig. I don't know for sure. And there's those elephant ears. About 15 years ago, they started growing around there. It's an invasive species, and they've just taken over the place. Even where they're dumping the slag, and you know, some junk gets down there too. So it's not exactly pretty, but show me a reclaimed coal mine that's pretty before they finish the landscaping. Now we're going to get off on a different subject. This is the Kings Village Shopping Plaza, built on the site of Maroons Field. This is actually Minersville, PA. That's where the Pottsville Maroons played from 1925 until 1928. 1925, of course, they won the NFL title, only to have it stripped because of league politics. The game against the Chicago Cardinals was actually played in Comiskey Park, and the championship game was played in Shibe Park. Now, I've done a video on this thing before. This is the First Defenders Monument. It's at Market Square on Market Street in Pottsville. The first unit to arrive in Washington, D.C. at the outbreak of hostility in the Civil War was from Schuylkill County. And this statue was erected in 1891. I think that might have even been the first Memorial Day. The plaque Nicholas Biddle of Pottsville. I bet you didn't know that the first person who shed blood in the American Civil War was an African American. The unit was marching through Baltimore. Nicholas Biddle was a manservant, a freeman, but a manservant to a captain in the unit. And there was a riot, and some of the pro-Confederacy people were throwing bricks, and Nicholas Biddle was hit on the head. There's also a monument to the Spanish-American War. And they have the plaques from the various wars that people from Schuylkill County fought in. Starts with the Mexican War and ends with Vietnam. And I guess they haven't put plaques out there for the Gulf War or the War on Terror yet. But this being Memorial Day weekend, all the plaques were decorated with flags. There's no plaque to the American Revolution because Schuylkill County actually did not exist during the Revolution. This is the Garfield Diner on Market Square. In 1960, a senator from Massachusetts who was running for president made a speech outside there. His name was John F. Kennedy. This is the Schuylkill County Prison, built in 1851, and this is where Molly Maguire hangings took place. You have to remember that the politicians were all put in place by the mine owners. This is a plaque about the hanging of the Mollies. It talks about Jack Kehoe, the last Molly who was hanged. And you notice they use Mollies in parentheses and they say alleged because they don't even know for sure that this secret society actually existed. Trust me, it existed. But this plaque was put up in 1980. There's a state historical marker outside the prison. June 21st, 1877, the day of the rope. They mentioned James McParland, who was a Pinkerton agent, who was an operative placed with the Mollies, and he's the one who testified against the Mollies that they were responsible for murders, which they weren't. It was a bunch of lies, but these men were hanged. Now there's a plaque for the American Revolution. An ancestor of mine fought in the American Revolution on my mother's side of the family. Of course, Civil War, Spanish-American War, First World War, Second World War, which my father was a veteran, Korea, Vietnam, Gulf War, Afghanistan. This is the Pottsville City Hall, across the street from the prison. And there's Big Red, parked legally, you notice. Now we're going to go to the Schuylkill County Historical Society and more on the Pottsville Maroons. There's a historical marker about the Pottsville Maroons outside the Historical Society. And there is an artifact from the team. There's actually a display for the team in the Historical Society. George A. Julwin, who was, as you see, Supreme Commander of Allied Forces, of NATO Forces, who was a native of Pottsville. He was a Supreme Commander of NATO from 1993 to 1997. As you can see, he fought in Vietnam, received many awards from the military. Now, what would a trip to Pottsville be without stopping by the Yingling Brewery? I was tempted to stop in for the tour, or maybe just go into their gift shop and maybe have a couple beers, but I'm not drinking these days, you know that. This is America's oldest brewery, established in 1829. And, of course, artwork depicting scenes of the brewery from back in the day. And this is another one of their buildings. Now we're visiting the house of John O'Hara, who was probably the best known writer from Pottsville. He was born in Pottsville in 1905, and this is where he lived. He wrote many novels, short stories, and magazine articles, and two of his novels, actually several more than two of his novels were made into movies. Pal Joey and Butterfield 8 come to mind. Now this is a little bit of sad nostalgia. This was my home away from home when I lived out here. Maroon Sports Bar. That's where I used to hang out. The owner sold it shortly after I left, and the new owners just ran it into the ground, and now it's sitting empty. It's been sitting empty for maybe 6 or 7 years. There's a mural across the street from it depicting scenes. Now, I took the back way home to see if I still remembered, back way back to Carol's house, and I stopped by the new St. Nicholas breaker, which is operated by Reading Anthracite. This is where those trucks used to come. Now, this house dates back to the late 18th century, and it is rumored that this was a place where the Molly Maguires used to meet. I can't say for sure, but I wouldn't doubt it. And as you can see, there is a monument to the Irish Catholic miners who died mining coal. This is up on a hillside. Now, heads are about to explode, especially if you're from Philadelphia like me. That, ladies and gentlemen, dear viewers, is the Schuylkill River. Yes, it is. It's the Schuylkill River, the west branch of the Schuylkill River. A good man can jump across it. I'm going to pan back to show you the guardrail of the road for perspective. It's only about 4 feet wide. Hardly the river that we see flowing through the city, but it is what it is. This is the Uke Road. This is where I took my morning walks when I was there. I walked a good way up the road. As you can see, it's black. That's from coal. This is where those big Euclid trucks, and I'll show you one later. This is where those big Euclid trucks would come rolling by, starting about 7 in the morning, waking me up. Now, this area was all mined out of coal, and water filled it in. It's a nice pond. So, reclaiming it, but if they're going to frack there, they need water. This could be a source of water, but hopefully when they're done that and they reclaim the area, this will be a home for wildlife. A nice pond. There's that shovel, the world's largest shovel. Now, as you see these piles of gravel and rock on the road, it's not uncommon to find lumps of coal that maybe fell out of trucks. That's a piece of anthracite coal I'm holding there. A black diamond. That's what made Schuylkill County wealthy. And when mining played out and the jobs left, it allowed poverty. Now, this is a pile of rock, but you see some of the bigger rocks have large lumps of coal. This is low-grade anthracite. It has limestone and probably some granite and iron in it too. So it's coal that just was not usable. They couldn't use it for coke. They couldn't use it for heating. So it just got thrown by the wayside, piled up. The Uke Road is, in some places, it's as much as 80 feet wide to accommodate those big trucks. I took a good long walk up and down this road the 2 mornings I was there. I couldn't get to the pool for my exercise, so I needed some exercise. Now, dendrophile that I am, I got to show you some of the trees. Mostly poplar trees in the area. There's a few ash left that weren't decimated by the emerald ash borer. But as you see, lots of poplars. There's also some birch and a few aspen. And there's those damn elephant ears again, the invasive species that's been growing there for the past 15 years or so, taking over the area. And of course there are sumac trees there too. Now, this house was where Carol's mother lived. She moved out shortly after I moved out of the area, and the people who bought it had to sell it to Reading Anthracite. They're storing equipment there. That house is waiting for the bulldozer. It's a shame. There's one of the big Euclids. That's actually a Caterpillar. It's not a Euclid, but get an idea about how big these trucks were. They could haul 50 tons of coal in that dump bucket. And they made God's own racket as they went down the road from the mine to the breaker. And Old Glory flying from the mast of the world's largest shovel. I don't know if it's the world's largest shovel. I just call it that because I think of John Prine's song Paradise when I say it. A little perspective though, backing down the road. Now, this is Carol's backyard. I used to love sitting in the backyard in the mornings, drinking my coffee and feeding the birds. that wishing well. There, we're going to see a bunny over there pretty soon. Birds coming to feed. I set some bird food out there, and like I said, it was very peaceful. Very peaceful sitting out there in the mornings watching the birds. And squirrels and chipmunks used to come in and take their feed. There's the bunny. It's over by the wishing well. That was a big bunny too. Didn't see a lot of rabbits when I lived there, but they're there now. So there you have it in a nutshell. How I spent Memorial Day weekend in Schuylkill County. Checking out some of my old stomping grounds and a little bit of the history of this place. I hope this video has been educational for you, and I hope it's been entertaining for you. I had a lot of fun making it, brought back a lot of memories, and I'm really happy I did it. Remember, hit that subscribe button, like and share this video. For Transitions, this is Sully, the retired tanker yanker. Safe and happy travels. Looks like I'm exploring my old stomping grounds here. A little bit something different today, people. Hello there, Sully here, the retired tanker yanker.
Can you do any work at all? I'm sorry.
Take two.
Jerry.
Take two.